Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the regular meeting of DeKalb City Council, November 23, 2020. Prior to our roll call this evening, a couple of items that I'd like to call to your attention. First of all, we have several members of our elected staff that, two who will not be with us personally, but will be with us on Zoom, and one who will not be with us this evening. Our city clerk, Lynn Fazekas, has indicated earlier on that she will be unable to join us tonight, so Ruth Scott, our administrative assistant, will be filling in her stead. Also, when we call the roll, they will be on Zoom, but Alderman Finucane of our 2nd Ward and Alderman Verbeek of our 6th Ward have indicated they'd like to join us on Zoom this evening. Also, we have only one person who has submitted an online public comment request, and we will get that individual on during public participation. If anyone in the audience would like to participate in public participation on any item on the agenda or any item not on the agenda, you're kindly asked to fill out a speaker request form, give it to our executive assistant, Ruth Scott, and she'll get that to me, and we'll get that, we'll get you on at the appropriate time. With that, I'd like to ask Ruth Scott to call the roll, please.
Morris.
Here.
Finucane.
Here.
Smith.
Here.
Perkins.
Here.
McAdams.
Here.
Verbic.
Here.
Favor.
Here.
Mayor Smith.
Here.
8 present.
Thank you. Would you please join me and stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Item C on the agenda tonight is to approve tonight's agenda. This is usually done in one motion unless one of our city council members would like an item to be either added or deleted to tonight's agenda. Do I see any additions or deletions? If not, I'd ask for a motion to approve tonight's agenda.
So moved.
Second?
It's been moved by Alderman Favor, seconded by Alderman Smith. Any discussion? Roll call.
Morris.
Yes.
Finucane.
Yes.
Smith.
Yes.
Perkins.
Yes.
McAdams.
Yes.
Verbic.
Yes.
Favor.
Yes.
Mayor Smith.
Yes.
8 yes.
Thank you. Tonight's agenda is approved as presented. We now move to public participation. We do have one Zoom participant who has indicated he'd like to speak on at least one item, perhaps two, and that is Mark Sarvat. Mark, please.
Good evening. Can everybody hear me okay?
We can. Thank you.
Yeah. Wonderful. I'm going to start with a simple question here, and I want to ask first off why this meeting is taking place in a building, specifically the DeKalb Public Library, when the building is now closed to the property taxpayers and citizens of the city of DeKalb. So the question that needs to be answered is, why is it safe for the city council to be attending tonight's meeting in person at the library when it's closed to the public, and not safe for someone to come into the library and check out a book? The library has been closed since Wednesday for those who are interested. I also want to comment on the committee of the whole meeting cancellation. I believe we have now canceled not one, not two, but 3 POW meetings in a row. So what kind of message does this tell your constituents? You're telling me, at least this is my impression, that this council seems to believe that all of DeKalb's problems are solved. I'm constantly hearing from the city manager, especially when we were talking about the chicken ordinance, how we don't have time to deal with issues because all of our meeting time is taken up. You've canceled 3 cow meetings in a row. It just doesn't make any sense. You're telling me all the budget issues from the pandemic have been resolved, no need for a cow meeting. You're also telling me you're finished dealing with all the proposals that our Human Relations Committee put in tons of hours to work on. I have not heard a peep about any of those things in weeks. People are waiting for resolutions on those specific issues. I want to bring up something, and I'm probably not, I think I signed up for another item, but I'll cover it here since we have a moment.
Okay.
I am pleased, and to be positive here, that the city council is going to do the right thing when it comes to the property tax levy this year. This is the first time I've actually seen some positive results where for the first time, we're not going to increase the dollar amount for property taxpayers to pay. It's pretty bad optics to raise property taxes during a pandemic. So commendations on that. I'm happy to see that. I want to see the city of DeKalb do something similar to what the city of Rockford and the city of Kirkland have done regarding our restaurants and bars. We really need to give them a lot more support. I bring up Rockford and Kirkland specifically because I've mentioned this to several members here, that they have actually said to the bar owners that we are not going to charge 50% of the liquor fees that you pay every year for your license, because the liquor, obviously they can't sell liquor. The outdoor packaged liquor thing I don't think is working too well. So the city of Rockford and Kirkland have said no more. 50% of what you paid for your liquor license is being refunded. Why can't the city of DeKalb do the same thing to help out our restaurant and bar owners? I think it would be a nice thing to do when you consider the budget proposal later on. That's all the comments I have. Have a great meeting.
Thank you, Mark. Okay, we have no presentations tonight. I have no mayoral appointments for the council to consider. We move along now to item G on the agenda, the consent agenda. And once again, this is usually approved in omnibus form unless any member of the council would like to delete any members or any items on the consent agenda to be discussed individually. Do I have any council member who would desire that? If not, let me read the consent agenda and then ask for your approval. Number 1, minutes of the regular city council meeting of November 9th, 2020. Number 2, accounts payable and payroll through November 23, 2020 in the amount of $2,562,548.56. Number 3, investment and bank balance summary through September 2020. Number 4, year-to-date revenues and expenditures through September 2020. Number 5, Freedom of Information Act, FOIA report, October 2020. Number 6, Hospitality Recovery Program update. And number 7, DeKalb Police Pension Fund Municipal Compliance Report for the fiscal year ended December 31, 2019. Motion, please, to approve the consent agenda.
So move. Second.
It's been moved by Alderman Perkins, seconded by Alderman Favor. Any discussion? Roll call.
Fanouken,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Perkins,
Yes.
McAdams,
Yes.
Verbic,
Yes.
Favor,
Yes.
Morris,
yes,
Mayor Smith,
Yes.
8 yes.
Thank you. The consent agenda is approved as presented. We have 2 public hearings tonight. The first one is a public hearing on the 2020 annual property tax levy. I will open this public hearing at 6:10. Is there anyone, first of all, in the audience who would like to speak to this item? If not, I'd like to call on City Manager Nicholas, please.
Thank you, Mayor. I gave a little bit of background in the council agenda tonight, and I won't repeat all that. We have talked at some length about the corporate levy and the aggregate levy, and I've noted that We are looking at a corporate levy of $6,522,456 that only partially meets our fire pension and police pension obligations, and we will fully abate the library debt service on the GO bond, which is $490,625. We also passed through for our aggregate levy, the levy request of the Cal Public Library, which is this year is $2,366,378. The rest, I think, is very familiar to the council, and we are looking in terms of our corporate levy of a corporate tax rate of 1.0662, which is 7.62% lower than the city rate in 2019.
We will be considering this as an ordinance, first reading the ordinance later on in tonight's agenda. However, during this public hearing, are there any other members of the public or any members of the city council who has any items? If not, I will close this public hearing at 6:12. Moving along to our second public hearing of this evening, a public hearing on the proposed FY 2021 budget. I will open this public hearing at 6:12. Is there anyone from the public who would like to speak on the proposed 2021 budget? If not, once again, City Manager Nicholas, please.
Okay, thank you. On occasion, and particularly with the budget, the council has held special meetings, joint meetings with the Finance Advisory Committee in place of the COW, which is dedicated towards special topics, which could be the budget, but in this case, it gives us even more time to roam across a variety of issues relating to our financial affairs. The first one was back in August. That was the kickoff for the budget process, which had already been in gear at the staff level. And as you recall, in mid-August, when we had the joint meeting, you had a pretty detailed background already on some assumptions having to do with the general fund in particular, and also some general questions that I was asking the joint meeting about capital and special fund issues, including TIF. Then there was another special meeting of the Finance, a meeting of the Finance Advisory Committee in October, and then the joint meeting just a couple weeks ago between the Council and Finance Advisory Committee, at which time you saw the whole draft budget that is out in this public hearing. It's posted on our website. I'm not going to walk through the essential assumptions there. I do want to remind the public and the council that all of our city funds are balanced in the FY21 draft budget. It certainly has been an interesting fiscal year for us and other governmental bodies. COVID has been very mightily weighing on our finances, and we are doing our best to deal with those impacts. We have benefited from some federal funds that have been passed through the state to us. We've also taken some steps to minimize our expenses, including the scoop and toss refunding of our debt for the next year. And I'm pleased to present a budget which is in balance and with a reserve, particularly in our general operating fund, that's projected to be higher than last year's reserve. So let's hope that we see some brightness around the first of the year, but it looks like we're going to have a dismal year end to FY20, and of course that figures on in terms of finances and the general fund reserve and other things. So that's what's before you tonight.
Thank you. Once again, the City Council will be considering this for first reading under the ordinance section of our agenda this evening. At this point, are the members of the public or any members of the City Council wish to make a comment during this public hearing? If not, I will close this public hearing at 6:15. We have no special considerations this evening, so we'll move along to item J, resolutions. Number 1, Resolution 2020-122, appropriating the sum of $2,075,000 of motor fuel tax funds for maintaining various streets and highways under the applicable provisions of the Illinois Highway Code, Section 21-00000/00-GM from January 1, 2021 through December 31, 2021. Motion, please.
Second.
It's been moved by Alderman Smith, seconded by Alderman Morris. Any discussion? City Manager Nicholas.
I just want to say the title's almost as long as my background on this. This is an annual resolution we're required by IDOT to pass, and all communities receiving the motor fuel tax from the state of Illinois are required to establish what they intend to spend it on. And we can spend it, of course, on street maintenance and street resurfacing, but also we can spend it on road salt, some engineering services, and also electricity for our street lights and traffic signals, and that's what we have proposed here. We recommend your approval.
Any further discussion? Roll call.
Smith,
Yes.
Perkins,
Yes.
McAdams,
Yes.
Verbic,
Yes.
Favor,
Yes.
Morris,
Yes.
Fanouken,
Yes.
Mayor Smith,
Yes.
8 yes.
That resolution is approved. Number 2, Resolution 2020-123, authorizing an intergovernmental agreement with the Illinois Department of Transportation Aeronautics for construction services for project DKB 4800 to rehabilitate runway 2-20 at the DeKalb Taylor Municipal Airport at a total estimated cost of $2,741,893.90, with a city contribution towards cost in an amount not to exceed $7,000. Motion, please.
So moved. Second.
It's been moved by Alderman McAdams, seconded by Alderman Morris. City Manager Nicholas.
About a month ago, the council passed a resolution that authorized a standard agreement very much like this. At that time, we didn't have the final revised cost for the paving projects that will be undertaken at our airport, and now we do. So this particular resolution just confirms that the amount, the value of that work will be a little bit over $2.7 million. Of which there is no local share because the state government is benefiting from federal monies that were made available for under the CARES Act for such transportation expenses, and we're pleased to have that benefit in FY21.
Thank you. Any discussion? If not, roll call, please.
Perkins,
Yes.
McAdams,
Yes.
Verbic,
Yes.
Favor,
Yes.
Morris,
Yes.
Fanouken,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Mayor Smith,
Yes.
8 yes.
That resolution is approved. Number 3, Resolution 2020-124, authorizing the award of a contract to Anthem Excavation and Demolition Incorporated for the abatement, demolition, and restoration of 912 Edgebrook Drive in the amount of $295,680. I'd entertain a motion, please.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved by Alderman Morris, seconded by Alderman Favor. City Manager Nicholas.
Thank you, Mayor. I see Joanne Rouse is in the audience tonight. Special thanks to her for her stewardship of this particular project. You may recall there have been little episodes along the way going back to June. Lots of public input, lots of meetings inviting public opinion. This is mostly funded by CDBG funds. Federal guidelines that require that kind of public input, and we've done that. We've gotten now to the point where we have received bids. and there is a low bid within our budget for this. The particular contractor is known as Anthem Excavation and Demolition, and their not-to-exceed amount was $295,680. I don't think I need to describe to you the condition of 912 Edgebrook. By the way, the highest bid was somewhere north of $550,000. So I think this is a group that's been pre-qualified and will be able to do the job, and we recommend your approval of this. This was sort of a council commitment. We've got one half of the worst buildings in HEN down, and that was the campus cinema, and this is number 2, and I heartily recommend your support of this.
Thank you, Bill. Any discussion? This is one of those items, and I'm sure the public has been saying, when are they ever going to get that down? So, thank you. Appreciate that. Let's have a roll call vote now on the motion to authorize the award to abate, demolish, and restore 912 Edgebrook Drive.
McAdams,
Yes.
Verbic,
Yes.
Favor,
Yes.
Morris,
Yes.
Fanouken,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Perkins,
Yes.
Mayor Smith,
Yes,
8 yes.
that resolution is approved. Thank you. There are no ordinances for second reading this evening. However, we have several for first reading. The first, number 1, ordinance 2020-069, authorizing the 2020 levy and the 2021 collection of taxes in and for the corporate and municipal purposes and special services areas of the city of DeKalb for fiscal year 2021. I'd like a motion for this ordinance, please.
So moved. Second.
It's been moved by Alderman Smith, seconded by Alderman Fanouken. City Manager Nicholas.
Thank you, Mayor. On page 6 of your background report tonight, and under this particular ordinance, you'll see a chart that spells out what you're asked to consider on first reading tonight. We will have a second reading on this on December 14th, at which time action will be recommended. But this basically describes what I said about the levy in our public hearing portion of this particular agenda, and I'm happy to answer any questions you may have. The detail on the special service areas is offered on page 7, and we do levy for those, but that levy does not fall on all of the taxpayers. It falls on those taxpayers within the special service areas by prior agreement. We have 7 SSAs altogether, 2 new ones this year. One you will be taking action on December 14th, and we will talk about that then. But this is first reading only, and as I said under the public hearing portion, the library debt will be abated, and that will hold the overall city tax rate down in light of the multiplier, this pretty stiff multiplier this year.
So we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion for first reading of this ordinance? Alderman Favor.
I just want to say, kudos. I caught it at our meeting last week. I confirmed with the city manager again tonight that the airport, for the first time since I've been on city council, is actually going to be positive. It's going to be in the black. $72,000 according to our budget, but it's going to be for the first time since I've been sitting up here that the airport is going to be positive and not negative, not taking money from the general fund. So
Thank you.
Kudos to yourself and to the airport manager. And I also just want to say how much I appreciate the SSA that we have for Market Square. Traveling through the entrance over there is so much better. The SSAs where they're warranted, they're a great option to utilize those. Thank you.
Thank you.
2 excellent points, Tony. Thank you. Any other comments? Roll call, please.
Verbic,
Yes.
Favor?
Yes.
Morris?
Yes.
Fanouken?
Yes.
Smith?
Yes.
Perkins?
Yes.
McAdams?
Yes.
Mayor Smith?
Yes.
8 yes.
And I understand we cannot waive second reading on this because there are dollars involved, right?
You could.
Yeah, you could, it's best not to.
Okay,
Yeah.
very good. All right.
Yeah.
Just checking. Number 2, ordinance 2020-070, abating taxes levied for corporate purposes of the city of DeKalb, Illinois for the tax year 2020 bonds. I'd entertain a motion, please.
So moved.
Second?
It's been moved by Alderman McAdams, seconded by Alderman Favor. City Manager Nicholas, please.
Thank you. If you go to page 9, you'll see another table. It's maybe easier to portray all this in tables. You'll be the judge of that, but this lays out just what we intend to do. You can see we're fully abating all of our GO bond debt service, and that's what I've described in the narrative. And we will ask for your support of this tonight on first reading only. This will come back with the levy ordinance.
Okay. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Favor?
Yes.
Morris?
Yes.
Fanouken?
Yes.
Smith?
Yes.
Perkins?
Yes.
McAdams?
Yes.
Verbic?
Yes.
Mayor Smith?
Yes.
8 yes.
That ordinance is approved on first reading. Number 3, ordinance 2020-071, adopting the annual budget of the city of DeKalb, Illinois for the fiscal year beginning January 1, 2021 and ending December 31, 2021. I'd entertain a motion, please.
So moved.
So moved.
It's been moved by
Second.
Alderman Verbic, seconded by Alderman Favor. City Manager Nicholas.
Well, I really don't have anything to add to what I've already added tonight, and for some hours of meetings. We presented a balanced budget to you. We hope you support it, and I'll answer any questions you may have.
Yeah, I commend the city council, Bill, especially you, for working so many hours, putting this thing together, and the input from our Finance Advisory Committee, that we're at this point where we can consider this on first reading tonight and hopefully pass at our next meeting in December. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Morris?
Yes.
Fanouken?
Yes.
Smith?
Yes.
Perkins?
Yes.
McAdams?
Yes.
Verbic?
Yes.
Favor?
Yes.
Mayor Smith?
Yes.
8 yes.
First reading of that ordinance is approved. Number 4, ordinance 2020-072, amending Chapter 23, Unified Development Ordinance, Article 5.07, LC, Light Commercial District, Article 5.08, GC, General Commercial District, and Article 5.11, L1, Light Industrial District, by adding automobile, truck, trailer, and recreational sales to the LC Light Commercial District as a special use, and adding trailer rental and sales as a permitted use to the GC General Commercial District and LI Light Industrial District. If you can understand all that, please enter a motion, please.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved by Alderman Favor, seconded by Alderman Morris. City Manager Nicholas, please.
Thank you, Mayor. This item and the next item are obviously related. This item builds the statutory framework to allow for what the petitioner has requested in the next item. And that deals with where and under what conditions you can have truck and trailer rentals. In the background report that Dan Olson has created for you for this agenda, you can see a lot more detail on this. But the Plan Commission took this up as it's required to do in terms of UDO changes, and was unanimously in support of what is, as you may know, in effect, something that has been going on for a long time in some of these areas, but has really been, it's not just non-conforming, just has never had the statutory support for it. So this creates that option with some conditions in terms of keeping it orderly and limited. So I recommend your support.
Any discussion on this item? If not, roll call, please.
Fanouken,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Perkins,
Yes.
McAdams,
Yes.
Verbic,
Yes.
Favor,
Yes.
Morris,
Yes.
Mayor Smith,
Yes.
8 yes.
That ordinance is approved on first reading. Does anyone want to move that we waive second reading and approve this tonight?
I'll move to waive second reading and approve.
Second?
It's been moved by Alderman Morris, seconded by Alderman Favor, that we waive second reading and pass this ordinance tonight. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Smith,
Yes.
Perkins,
Yes.
McAdams,
Yes.
Verbic,
Yes.
Favor,
Yes.
Morris,
Yes.
Fanouken,
Yes.
Mayor Smith,
Yes.
8 yes.
That ordinance is approved. Thank you. Number 5, ordinance 2020-073, approving a special use permit to allow truck and trailer rental storage at 1011-1027 West Hillcrest Drive, U-Haul.
So moved.
Motion, please.
So moved, sorry.
Second?
It's been moved by Alderman Morris and seconded by Alderman Favor. City Manager Nicholas, any additional information on this?
Just that, for context, for several years now, the truck and trailer parking trailers, we're talking about U-Haul trailers, that you see here has been at 1011 and 1027 West Hillcrest Drive, that commercial strip on Hillcrest. And the one thing that's been missing is some order to the presentation along the Hillcrest Drive corridor. So in light of what you've just approved in terms of the context and the statutory allowance for this in certain zoning districts, the Plan Commission also added some conditions in this particular parking area to see that handicap signs are placed for parking per our state and local regulations in front of the handicap spaces next to the building. And there is to be some spacing so that there's vision from the street into the buildings that are there for security reasons. So the commission took this up and voted 4-1 in favor of the particular instance here where the new regs would apply.
Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Perkins,
Yes.
McAdams,
Yes.
Verbic,
Yes.
Favor,
Yes.
Morris,
Yes.
Fanouken,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Mayor Smith,
Yes.
8 yes.
If council wants to, we can waive second reading and approve this tonight.
I'll move to waive second reading and approve.
Second.
It's been moved by Alderman Morris and seconded by Alderman Perkins that we waive second reading and approve this ordinance this evening. Any further discussion? If not, roll call, please.
McAdams,
Yes.
Verbic,
Yes.
Favor,
Yes.
Morris,
Yes.
Fanouken,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Perkins,
Yes.
Mayor Smith,
Yes.
8 yes.
That ordinance is approved. We now move to item M, reports and communications, allowing any of our council members and our city manager to report on any item they'd like to. We'll start with Alderman Carolyn Morris from our first ward.
Thank you, Mayor. Just want to give you a quick update on the state of the first ward. I think everybody here probably knows a lot of this, but I just want to note it for the city. So more streetlights have been going up in the first ward. Twombly has received the infrastructure updates needed to precede sidewalks and road updates. Campus Cinemas has been demolished, and today we approved 912 Edgebrook for demolishing. So that's a long list of significant improvements, and I just wanted to say kudos to everyone for making those happen.
Thank you. Thank you.
You know, we've been saying it's a marathon, not a sprint up there, and I'm just so happy with the progress we're making, albeit slowly, but we're doing it. Thank you, Carolyn.
Thank
Anything
you.
else?
That's all.
Okay. Bill Fanouken, our second ward alderman, any report?
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. Just want to tell you why I decided to Zoom with the increased number of cases in and around the county and across the state. Taking my own safety into concern, I'm staying at home, as that is a relatively small room for the number of people that are in there. So that's my reason for Zooming in tonight. Also, I want to take note of a couple of events, charity events. The Salvation Army and WLBK did their Let's Talk Turkey last week. Tremendously successful, the best numbers they've ever had in the number of turkeys and dollars. And then at the end of next week, the radio station will be sponsoring Freezing for Food out in front of the Hy-Vee store, again for the Salvation Army Food Pantry. And it's just a great event. And if you can even give 2-3 cans, all that is appreciated as we collect and try and get everybody through into Christmas and into the winter. Thank you.
Bill, I know has been a special mission of yours over the years in support of the Salvation Army, and I want to thank you for all the time you've spent on this Let's Talk Turkey project last Friday. It's been great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Alderman Smith, third ward.
The only thing is the Cane's restaurant is open. They're doing quite well. I think they've done it very orderly. They've got someone out there directing traffic. I've heard of no issues. It just seems it's constantly busy, so that's a good addition to our town. Thank you.
Thank you, Alderman Smith. Alderman Perkins, fourth ward.
No report.
Alderman McAdams, fifth ward.
No report.
Alderman Verbeek, sixth ward.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you, Mike, and happy Thanksgiving to you. Alderman Favor, seventh ward.
I'll just say tomorrow is the Airport Advisory Board meeting out at the airport at 7 p.m. In the main hangar, if anyone's interested in hearing about what's going on at the airport. Actually, I mean, it took me a long time to read the minutes from the airport manager. She takes very detailed notes. DeKalb Airport is extremely busy airport. I mean, you just wouldn't believe the number of jets, helicopters, and things that fly in and out of DeKalb,
Right.
And the amount of fuel that the city is selling. It's just amazing. So, you know, just a good job to Renee and to Bill for managing such a efficient airport. Thank you.
Thank you, Tony, and thank you for your support as the council liaison to the airport. I appreciate that. I do have a couple of comments tonight. It appears that the closing weeks of 2020 may very well be critical in determining just where we as a nation and we as a community are positioned in finally putting an end to the coronavirus pandemic. Very heartening is the prospect of an imminent release of the Regeneron vaccine for those who qualify due to their existing medical conditions. Additionally, media reports suggest that it may be as early as mid-December when the national distribution process for 2 universal vaccines begin. Here in DeKalb, we will be vigilant. We must be vigilant in working with officials from throughout the medical community so that we are in a position to keep our residents fully informed as to the local distribution processes. Finally, I'd like to respond to Mr. Sharvat's comments earlier in the evening regarding this council's utilization of our committee of the whole process. Mark had sent a note to all of us late last week, you may recall, that was critical of cow cancellations. After discussing this with our city manager, who knows as well as anyone regarding these committee of the whole meetings, I can tell you this, that first off, our cow meetings have almost always been scheduled when a council member, such as yourself, asked for further discussion on a topic. or when our administration suggests that we have to have that further discussion. And this procedure, I think, has worked fairly well. Nicholas's point that COW meetings were not established as a required meeting, and furthermore, that a study of the wealth of items discussed by this city council, often during lengthy city council meetings, this should show that we've seriously considered these issues that have been most pressing. Now, I'm very comfortable about how we've addressed these issues, but I'd invite any of you here on the city council to continue to suggest items that may need further public discussion, after which we would certainly reconsider or consider a committee of the whole meeting. Those are my two comments. City Manager Nicholas.
No report. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Okay, no report there, so we have been told that we should meet in executive session this evening. So I'd like City Council approval to hold an executive session in order to discuss collective bargaining as provided for in 5 ILCS 120/2C2. May I have a motion to approve that we go into recess for executive session?
So moved.
Second?
It's been moved by Alderman Favor, seconded by Alderman Smith. Before the vote, just a reminder that if we do approve going into executive session, because of the possibility of security problems with remote participation, namely Zoom, that we will have to excuse those who are on Zoom tonight from the executive session. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Verbic,
Yes.
Favor,
Yes.
Morris,
Yes.
Fanouken,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Perkins,
Yes.
McAdams,
Yes.
Mayor Smith,
Yes.
8 yes.
We are now in executive session in recess. Thank you.